Okay, today we are going to be making some sublimation tumblers. So, y'all know I love my tumblers. So we are going to be doing, actually on this YouTube video, I'm going to be showing you how to make this one, these two, and these two you can find over on my blog of how I made these ones. We will be doing one with sublimation paper. So you'll be needing, this is what I'm using, the sublimation paper, and then my sublimation printer, which I will link below, and I'll link the video that how I set it up to be a sublimation. It's just a Epson inkjet that I converted. And so this is all printed on the sublimation paper and then pressed onto this. I am using my Cricut mug press, and I'm using a couple of Teflon sheets to kind of stuff in here to give it a little extra support because it doesn't quite fill the whole thing in there. So you can be doing the sublimation part, or with this one we are going to be doing infusible ink. So I'm using this Cricut Infusible Ink, and this one is this one up here, and I used this one for this tumbler here. So the one thing with infusible ink on the whole wrap is it's not seamless. So you can see there is a little bit of a line in here on the back side, and it doesn't fully match up, but still looks super cool. So I'm going to be using my Cricut Maker to cut this out, and then you'll be needing a pair of heat resistant gloves, and I will link these below, and a lint roller. And then these mugs are sublimation mugs, specific for sublimation. So I will link all these below. I got these ones on Etsy, and they worked out perfectly. So let's get started making some tumblers. Okay, so this is what printed out. Like I said, it's going to be pretty dull and look faded, but once we apply the heat to it, it will get more vibrant. So I put this in to cut at a 9x3 by 8.2, which is going to cover my 20-ounce tumbler here. So I'm actually just going to cut off the top . Okay, so you're going to need the heat resistant tape. So I am going to lint roll my tumbler. Okay. And actually I'm going to cut off one of the sides here. I can put tape around the other one, but okay. So I'm going to place this . So it's there, and then I'm going to wrap this one all the way around and hopefully line it up. Stay down, but we also want it as tight as possible. Okay, and then I'm going to tape the bottom because I know from my ceramic mugs that the bottom can be the part that is the hardest for them to press, and especially since this doesn't actually really fit inside the mug press, we are going to see how we're going to do this. It's my first time, so I'm doing it with me here. Okay, then I'm going to do a few on the top just to make sure. Okay, and then we're going to put some butcher paper this is just to protect my press. So, as mine doesn't need to be pretty. Okay, so since we're going to be flipping this over and pushing it and handling it, and it doesn't have a handle, I'm going to be using heat-resistant gloves here. So, let's see. So my mug press is all heated up, and you can see that there's a big gap in it. So I am going to try to put this in it, and let's see what happens. So I'm putting, since I kind of want to know where I press it, I'm going to put the tape line over on that side. Okay, I'm going to put this Teflon sheet on the back side here. Okay, so now I'm actually going to flip it around. Oops. Alexa, set timer for 3 minutes. So it's really only pressing just on this side here. So I'm probably gonna have to rotate it 3 times. And then I'm gonna flip it over and do the top part. As you can see that the mug press isn't reading it, probably because it's not fully enclosed in there. So I'm gonna do each side for 3 minutes. Alexa, stop. Alexa, set timer for 3 minutes. Alexa, off. Okay, so now I tape it out and actually flip it over so we do the top. Okay. Okay, so again, I'm going to start it lined up with the tape over on that edge so I know where I started. Alexa, set timer for 3 minutes. And then I'm just going to do 3 minutes on each section and rotate it. Okay, so now I'm going to rotate this around just so my tape is on the other side here. And press that down again. Alexa, set timer for 3 minutes. Okay, so one last rotation. Alexa, off. Okay, so we're going to take this out. We're going to let it cool for just a few minutes, and then we'll unwrap that. Okay, so I have another one going in there. But while we're doing that, let's see if this worked. still super hot. I can feel it underneath. You probably noticed, I'm not a clean crafter. I'm kind of all over the place. A little harder to remove with gloves. Not a super fun reveal because it's so stuck. And because I'm so impatient. Okay. Super cool, right? Oh. Look at that. Okay, so up next we are going to do one with Infusible Ink. So just cutting out my Infusible Ink Transfer sheet with my Cricut Maker. Okay, so this just cut out. So I'm going to take it off my mat and actually trim around it. Okay, I'm going to kind of crack it. And these ones I'm peeling, hoping that I think my blade needs to be changed since I've been using a lot of it in Infusible Ink lately, so I am not getting the best and prettiest cuts on here. Okay, so I finally got it all weeded. Like I said, the white part, as long as it doesn't have ink, it will not transfer. So we are going to try it on this metallic color mug. It is, I think the whites work better. Oops. You can see this mug that I did, this was using sublimation paper, so a little bit different, but the colors are definitely a little bit more muted because it's on the purple background than with the white. This was again sublimation, so let's see what the Infusible Ink does. I'm just gonna wipe this off well. I'm gonna turn on my mug press, lint roll of this. I'm going to lay this down, kind of lay this right on top. Wrap it around. as tight as possible. Probably should have put that on separately so I can get a better seal up on the top there. Okay, so then I'm just going to start using my heat resistant tape to tape around here. Make sure everything is nice and stuck down. And I should have cut that off before I did this, but I'm learning while I'm going too. So I'm just kind of putting it around any place that might not have a good seal. And also going to tape the bottom down, especially where those infusible ink actually meets the edges there. Okay, and then I'm going to put a couple pieces of butcher paper around it. Just 2 pieces, just to keep everything safe. And I'm going to actually, so I know where this part is, I'm going to put the tape kind of right in the middle of the words, because the front side I only really have to press it 1 time, because that should fit all on one press there. Okay, so I'm just doing this so I know that my words are right where this is. And you'll see why in a minute. Okay. So this doesn't have to be great. It's just kind of protecting the machine and this. Okay, so I'm going to wait for this to fully heat up. Okay, so this is heated up. So I am actually going to use my gloves. And what I do is use, these are 2 Teflon sheets that are folded up, and I'm going to stick them in here because these tumblers are not wide enough to get a full press around it. So I'm going to put this side where my tape is. This is where that front side of those words were. I'm going to put that facing this way so I know that that part is going to get pressed, because between about right here and here is where it kind of presses. Actually, I'm going to put this kind of all in at the same time. Okay, so that's facing that way. And then I'm going to push it closed. Okay, so if I didn't have this in, I mean, you can see this is still not perfectly covered around there, but it goes from about here to about here for where it's pressing that. So I'm going to turn it about 3 times around to make sure that everything there gets perfectly pressed on the bottom part. Alexa, set timer for 3 minutes. So I do each time for 3 minutes. So you'll see that this one is not reading it because it's not wide enough and it's not a full press that it's closed. You can also probably put cardboard or something else down to make it a little bit tighter down there. I was going to put my easy press mat in there, but I was just a little scared that it would burn. So I'm just using these. You can also fold these in half to get them a little bit thicker. Okay, sorry, I started cutting something else with my Cricut while I was doing this, so it's loud. So my timer went off for 3 minutes, so I'm gonna lift this up. I'm gonna take this out. So on the top one, again, I only had words, so I only needed to press it there. So now I'm gonna start pressing the bottom. So, let's see, I have to fold these in half, make it a little bit thicker. So I know where I start, I put the tape over so it's on the edge here. Again. Okay, so my tape is kind of lined up right over here. So again, I'm gonna press that. So it's really gonna just press this part of it, and then I'm gonna flip it around and do another side for 3 minutes, and then flip it 3 times and do all of those. Alexa, set timer for 3 minutes. Okay, so my Alexa just went off, so I'm just gonna raise this up, and then I'm just gonna rotate it till the tape is about over on this side, so I can get this section here, push it back down. Alexa, set timer for 3 minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna do that another 3 minutes, and I'm gonna rotate it one more time. Okay, so last time the Alexa went off, I'm going to rotate it more this way, and again press. Alexa, set timer for 3 minutes. Okay, so that was my last timer. So I'm going to remove my mug and just let it sit for a few minutes. If you have the gloves, you can take it right off, but sometimes it's hard to get the tape off of this with the gloves on. So I'm just going to let it cool down, and then we will take it off. Okay, so I have another one in there. So this one is cool. So let's see what it looks like on this blue. Like I said, I don't... Ooh, that's kind of fun. Oh, I like those colors. I'm almost glad my thing wasn't working, because I was going to do a different one. I know it's really hard to see with all the glare with these type of things, but so there's that one. If you can see kind of how cool those colors on there. So that is inside. You can wash it as much as you want. And there we go. And there is again the other one with the photos on it. Okay, so 2 different ways to sublimate with the sublimation paper, and then also infusible ink. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button below so you don't miss any tutorials, and happy crafting.